Greetings, everyone. I hope you're enjoying this current series that we're in, Diary of a Tin Can Sailor. Of course, that's the diary of one of the sonar men for the USS Chauncey DD-667, Leslie Irving Forsberg. And we're getting ready to get into part 3. But before I do that, I want to mention a correction that I need to make. In the last segment, the diary mentions that he saw the USS Chicago on the 16th of March. But after research, of course, I found that that is impossible because the USS Chicago was sunk by the Japanese in 1942. Now, by that time, they had launched a new Chicago, but at that particular time, March of 45, it was in the Mediterranean, so it could not have been the Chicago. Now, in saying this, I want to point this out that after 2.5 years of combat, of course, this gentleman is allowed to misname at least one ship, especially when everything else that I have read in this diary matches up perfectly with the war diaries of not only the Chauncey, but also of Destroyer Division 96 and Destroyer Squadron 48. So I guess the guy is allowed to mispronounce at least one ship. Now, after doing some research, I did find that they were in the same vicinity as the Cruiser Division 17, which was in that area on that day. And of the 4 ships in that division, there is one ship that is of the age of the Chicago, and ironically, that ship is the Indianapolis, which of course is the Indianapolis is the famous ship that you hear the story about from the movie Jaws, and that was sank later on in July of that year. It's possible, I can't swear to it, that that's the ship that he saw, but I will say it's possible that that's the ship that he saw. But again, this is an incredible diary, and everything that I have seen matches up perfectly with the war diaries that I have looked at. And so I won't mess around any further. Let's get right into it. Diary of a Tin Can Sailor, the diary of Leslie Irving Forsberg, Part 3. Hope you enjoy it. March the 27th. It's been 2 years since I left boot camp. General quarters most of the morning. We were on picket duty this morning, and when it got light, we went alongside the Black to give her some mail. We had 2 lines over from us to her when we spotted a Jap plane heading for us. We were out of sight of the main force. The plane was a Nell, a large 2-motored, twin-tailed bomber. The captain gave left full rudder, and the Black went sharply to the right. I saw a large bomb leave the plane and grab the nearest helmet. The bomb, landed about 25 yards from us on our starboard side. Had we not turned so quickly, we would have been hit directly on the bridge, where I was, or at the number 1 stack, just after the bridge. The gun crews were helping with the lines to the Black, and so by the time they got back in the guns, the plane was way off. However, we got 2 shots a 5-inch off near him. We tracked him by radar, and he headed back towards us. The Black was not near us now. The plane came in high again, and the number 1 and number 2 5-inch guns fired at him. He was hit by the 5th or 6th shot and burst into flames in his port motor. He dropped his bombs, and we went sharply to the left. They exploded just off of our starboard bow. The fire spread to his left wing and along the fuselage. He rolled over to his left and then tried to dive into us. He almost did, but our anti-aircraft guns racked him up with murderous fire and probably took the pilot out. He dove into the sea very close at about 300 miles an hour. There was a terrific explosion and fire and wreckage on the water, as he dove into the sea. The rising sun, one on each wing, caught my eye. They were very prominent. The plane, a Nell, carries 7 men, a bomb load or torpedoes, and has 5 7.7 millimeter guns plus a 20 millimeter in the nose. We all embraced each other and had a lot of fun telling each other what we had noticed. It was a narrow escape, and the Jap was a pretty good bombardier. Now we officially have 3 twin-engine bombers and 3 fighter bombers to our credit. It was a good day. The invasion of this island here is scheduled for the 1st of next month, I believe. Heard Tokyo Rose today. She is still lying as much as ever. March 28th. Fueled this morning, passed mail. Picked up a pilot who had his jaw broken in 3 places and 4 downed flyers from other cans. We delivered them to their respective carriers. Kept busy. At night, the old man passed the word over the speakers that we had just gotten word that we, Task Force 58, were going up north a bit and hunt up the Jap fleet. Task Force 58 is made up into 3 groups. March 29th. On picket duty about 90 miles from Japan. General quarters most all day. Several planes have come in. We got 'em, but perhaps not one. He flew in, dove on a carrier, loosed his bomb, and left in a hurry. I don't know how he got through the flak. It was terrific. The guy made a near miss on the carrier. March 30th. On picket duty again, the carrier planes made a strike on Kyushu. The Jap fleet was spotted near there, but went north rather than fight. No doubt they won't really come out until they have a decided advantage, one way or another. Headed southeast at about noon to fuel. The landing on Okinawa is to take place on the 1st. March 31st. On picket duty. Nothing unusual happened. April 1st. Got mail today. Refueled from a tanker. Very rough. Took a long time to get the fuel hose over. April 2nd. Still on picket. Heard Japs claim they have sunk or damaged 46 of Task Force 58. What a laugh. April 3rd. Invasion of Okinawa is going okay. Still on picket duty. April 4th. On picket duty. Went to general quarters. Got attacked by a Jap dive bomber. We are 3 cans in a column. He caught us by surprise. Dropped his bomb and ran. Got away clean, too. April 5th. Fueled this morning. Got mail. Got letters from Dad, Mim, and Carol. Carol is a Marine instructor now and is not coming out here. Ferry planes belly tanks from a ferry carrier, bringing replacements out to these. Also pilots, freight, and enlisted airmen. April 6th. Stayed with Force since we're not finishing delivering stuff. Under a furious attack today by Jap suicide diver on a carrier. He missed. We got a near bomb hit. We hit several planes. Really knocked one down by ourselves. A battle wagon claimed it too. The Essex, Admiral Mitcher, commanding Task Force 58 aboard, is deciding who shall get the credit. We rate with the Essex, but after all, the battle wagon has an admiral on board, and we have only a lieutenant commander. Task Force 58 bagged about 500 planes today. Pretty good. Naturally, most of the credit goes to the fighter pilots, but teamwork is what really does it. April 6, 1945 was a good day. Oh yes, we were ordered to get our torpedoes ready. May have to use them. I hope not, though. We'd only use them in making a run on a Jap warship of large size. That's almost suicide. April 7th. On picket duty again, we join the main group each night. Headed north, our airmen found part of the Jap fleet sunk their largest and best battle wagon, 2 light cruisers, 3 cans, and left 2 in flames. Many Jap planes came after us, but our combat air patrol got them. April 8th. Picket duty again. General quarters all day. No planes came in. Guess the Japs are getting disgusted. We are going south to fuel tomorrow. Also expect to provision. We are very low on food. April 9th. Provisioned today and took on fuel. Also got mail. I didn't get any, but we didn't get much. April 10th. Back up north on picket as usual. April 11th. General quarters most all day. The combat air patrol got all the Jap planes. April 12th. General quarters all day. Several Jap planes tried to suicide dive on the division of us, 4 cans, while we were on picket duty. They just barely missed. We were in the formation. One Jap came in fast over the black and strafed them before they could get him. He then got in between the kid and the black so that neither one could fire at him without hitting the other ship. He dove right into the kid and hit it just after the bridge. There was an awful explosion, and the smoke and steam and flames leaped high in the air. She blew out her control siren, and it sounded tragic, as well as looking so. We other 3 cans, the black, the Bullard, and us, the Chauncey, circled her, and gradually she got the fire out. The plane went into the starboard side of the ship and left quite a hole, but oddly enough, the port side was much worse off. The explosion ruined the forward fire room, tore off the port side of the signal bridge, smashed the boat on the port side, blew 1 man overboard, hurt or wounded about 24, and killed around 60 men. The doctor was seriously wounded, as was the captain. We knew those boys quite well. Such is war. I have acquired a hatred for the Japs now, after that affair. April 13th. General quarters all day. Few Jap planes around, dropping flares at night. Headed south to fuel. Heard that our president has died. It is sad news, and especially bad at this time. He had so much planned. I heard a Jap program talk about him. They said that he was a great man. This surprised me. Of course, they pointed out his faults and said that it would be a serious loss to the Allies. It will, of course. April 14th. Fuel today, and we'll go north tonight. April 15th. Had a small air attack. April 16th. Had quite an air attack. A Jap plane tried to suicide on us. He didn't miss by much. Our anti-aircraft fire was so heavy that he pulled away from us and headed for the black, who was in front of us. We had him burning before they even began to fire. He turned and twisted and tried to hit her, but missed. He landed only about 10 yards off of her port bow. The Bullard, who was astern of us, had a plane dive on her. We set his starboard wing afire, and he crashed and missed her stern by only 2 yards, they reported. Both planes looked as though they would make good hits. Luckily, they missed. They both can thank us for saving them, or at least helping an awful lot. That's going to do it for part 3 of Diary of a Tin Can Sailor, the diary of Leslie Irving Forsberg, one of the sonar men for the USS Chauncey, DD 667. And I also want to point out, while I'm thinking about it, that was not his only duty. During battle stations, He was oftentimes the loader for one of the 40 millimeter guns, so that wasn't the only thing that he did on the ship. He actually saw a lot of action topside as well. We probably have several more segments that we're going to be doing because the diary goes all the way through until September, but I want to try to keep these segments at about 15 minutes. I don't want to risk a chance of you folks tuning out too soon and missing something good. And so I think 15 minutes is pretty good time length for a segment. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying it so far, and I hope you'll tune in for the next segment, part 4 of Diary of a Tin Can Sailor. See you later.